Welcome everyone to the fourth and final game of tonight, Auzom Premier League NA regular season. It's been a good couple of games so far, but there's one more left to be played out to see where these top 16 teams, who's going to be the top 16, and where exactly are they going to stand going into the finals weekend, starting tomorrow. No, Saturday.
Yeah,
this weekend.
Saturday. Well, I don't know what's going to be happening. I think a lot of teams aren't sure exactly what's going to be going on either for this game, because this flight plan here, sort of on like the bottom third of the map, is literally just following that water all the way in. It's going to be a lot harder for some of these teams, especially if you normally drop in that Severny, Jordan Polius Nye area. If you drop in any of those spots, it's going to be a lot harder for you to get there from your drop. Maybe seeing a couple of awkward altercations that we saw in Game 3, the teams scrambling to get at the same set of vehicles.
We saw a similar plane route and not too much came of it. Most teams are able to find some place to loot up reasonably well. But right now I'm looking at Ferry Pier is now taken, and this is going to put pressure on Wildcard down at Primorsk. We've seen a couple of times other teams camp each other out in this position. I think specifically it was Space Station Gaming, who are the team currently at Ferry Pier, that camped out Groovy at Primorsk at the PGL Invitational. Their rotation out of there. So they may do the same thing to Wildcard, but we're going to see if that happens later on into it. United Jimmer, is he able to find a gun? Because Walt Jr.'s legs is long dropping here.
There's a lot of players that are in this area. Looks like Mr. Bonaparte, driving pretty slow, is probably going to be picking up legs here. Yeah, you should be fine. These guys will be able to get to Yaz just fine. The question is that going to be the right place to go? And the answer is yes. This zone looks pretty familiar, Cammy.
Yeah, very, very similar to what we saw last game. Don't know if it's going to end up in the same spot, but it's going to be interesting to see how the teams, if they play this early game, like if they do it different at all, or if they're going to do the exact same first couple of steps. Cloud9 right now in a rotation. Gonna be coming past a member of Totality, but it's a single lone member, and they're on a pretty far rotation around that area to go to this west side. But
they might be a bit late. If they're going to Georgia Pool, I don't know how kitted Envious is, but if they have any guns at all and this car heads north of Georgia, they are going to be in trouble. They were able to get a little bit of garbage. They sort of got themselves like an Uzi, maybe a level 1 vest, but yeah, they're taking this route. This is going to be right in Envious's current foot transition path. And if these guys got guns, then Cloud9's in trouble.
There's 4 of them in one vehicle. This vehicle goes kaboom. That is Cloud9 out within the first couple of minutes. They're pathing far enough away, and looks like Envious didn't have enough guns picked up so early into the game.
That's very smart.
Absolutely understandable. Good pathing by them, and they just barely are beating Envious to the punch, going across their area, going across that bridge. Oh, they drop a player off. Elusive to grab another vehicle, and this is stealing it away from Envious. So this is going to make it harder for Envious to make their own transitions into the circle later, because we know where the circle is. They're going to have to go a far distance. So hopefully they're able to find some more vehicles around their area, but that bike is going to be taken out from under their noses.
I really like that they were able to get to Northern Georgia as well. They just leave Envious to the south side. They could themselves and grab Northern Georgia, and everyone's happy. That being said, still got a long way to get to the zone, but at the very least, they'll be able to spend the next few minutes getting kitted in probably the most dense area of loot in the game, I would say. Georgia's pretty good.
Slow game so far in the area of the game. Yes, indeed, everyone has been able to find themselves someplace to go safe. No shots, no casualties yet. It's pretty spread.
Right now, yeah, and in this zone as well, it was pretty similar in the previous game where we had that sort of like, well, it's in Yaz right now, so is it going to go north? Is it going to go south? But right here, it's pretty much dead set on heading sort of that prison centralized area. So a lot of those compounds to the north, they're going to be pretty probably taken by Dash and players around, like I'm soon United as well. Once again, in a pretty good spot with their prison split. It almost always gives them a great area to transition through. You can also grab shelter if they need to get some more loot. And look at this. This is beautiful timing. This time, they do not need to go back into shelter to get themselves a gun. Just showing it right up when Geist has that down. Dude, that timing is so sexy for United. I love that. He just pulls up right when his friend gets done looting shelter.
I expect to see EU United pulling a similar 2-2 split that we saw in the very early game. 2 in the compound that they ended up holding for the majority of it, and then 2 on the ridge where we saw a lot, the ridge around prison, where we saw a number of teams clash in the mid game after they left that spot. But during the early phases, a split like that can be really powerful.
A lot of teams still making their way looting. Team Gates in this school area might be doing some gatekeeping if they decided not to go in soon. Vexel on the south side as well. More, I'm not going to call it split looting because he's pretty close, but is getting pretty far away from his team in these yellows. Should be able to provide quite a bit of loot for the guys on Space Station Gaming. Their current position before the games today is currently 10th place. So they are one of our teams that are gonna need to be working pretty hard, where like they will be able to get a lot for a little, but they haven't gotten that little bit yet. They haven't performed amazingly well in any of our 3 games yet. And being frank, these last couple of games matter a whole heck of a lot. The last game, the last day before the finals.
Yeah, and Space Station Gaming, they're currently 16th place, last place in this series. And they're 10th in the Premier League. They're 10th in global points. So they're going to have a terrible game. They have to get overtaken by a lot of people in order to drop out of the top 16. But they're pretty far behind. They're actually really far behind. They have a pretty big gap between them and 15th. But right now, Aizawa, he's defending against Ghost. Ghost actually went to this compound that was taken by Wheaties Box Rejects last game sooner. Aizawa tried to hold it for his team, but Ghosts are all charging in, so he is on his way out. He's not holding this alone. He wants to find a way to exit, but he's hiding in a corner.
Okay, but look at this. Look at that minimap to the north side. It looks like his teammates are actually holding this hill and are going to be trying to support him, but Ghost does sniff this out, realize that this is a possibility, which means that the guys on Wheaties Box Rejects are not going to be able to get a free pick. Realizing this, it looks like, yep, Ayuzawa is getting out of Dodge. I don't know if it has his own car. I don't know if it matters, but it looks like camping here, the M16 stuck on burst is going to be his answer to what are you going to do about Ghost, buddy?
I think Aizawa landed a couple of shots earlier. Yeah, okay, so Ghosts suspect that he is still in this area. They think he's in the top floor, which is actually not. So once they see that it's clear, the question is, do they think that he's left the area or not? They didn't hear any vehicles leave from this area. They just heard those drive past. So I
wanted him to steal a car so bad, but on the far left side, I think I saw Turtle. Oh, Aizawa getting spotted by Profi. Oh yeah, super dead, getting caught right in the open. I like the play. He was creeping toward the buggy, but it looked like with only 2 players going inside the garage building, Ghost had dotted all their I's. They had crossed all their T's. No way in hell of him getting out of there.
Hey, but look at that. Wheaties Box Rejects, they do lose a player, but they get a really strong compound.
Yeah.
The same trailer park compound that Totality held last game, depending on where this game ends up going, where the next circles end up going, it could be really powerful, and we've seen it being quite impactful in previous games in this area.
Not as many quick movements this game around. It looks like a couple of teams spending a little bit more time looting. That does make a lot of sense. The initial flight plan that we had was quite unhealthy for our team. They had to spend a lot of time getting to wherever their looting spots were, which, you know, it just translates to teams getting to their later or their first and second circle holds just later. That does mean Totality, Wheaties Box Rejects, as well as United have pretty much free pickings on wherever they want to go. They have currently established that, but looking at despite that, Team Gates able to claim the Alamo, which I'm pretty sure as of now is the most centralized compound in this circle. Pretty strong. We'll see if that comes into play later on.
Pretty central. I think a tiny shack just west of prison is the most.
Oh, no, you're right. That's a better spot to be.
The tiny tower.
You're absolutely right.
But considering the state of the individual compound itself, Alamo's probably better. I'll tell you right now. Ooh, this is dangerous. 2 people on a single buggy. That's quite dangerous driving past. But they're going to be going up. Are they going into the No, they're not going to the shack. They're just driving up to find something. Yeah. So Smithy does spot out the 2 players of Gates and Alamo, and the rest of Totality perhaps send in the spot to take them. But then they hear this vehicle coming up onto their west. This could be a crossfire on the 2 remaining players of Gates to try and drive through.
He's driving right into them. This is super dangerous for Mortify, getting lit up right now, but looks like his pathing is pretty good. Only 1 player has shots. I think Mortify is out of this, but still only 3 out of 4. I'm wondering what their last player is going to do to get through this Totality chokehold.
I think he's going to be swinging up to the north. He just swings and does a long rotation around. It should be a safe enough path. And so Gates, oh no, he's doing a long rotation to the north.
At some point, it stops being rotation and starts being just going somewhere else. I'm wondering what that's going to be. I don't know where he's going, but maybe it's Gates, maybe it's not. But we're going to have to like wait for another minute or so to find out.
He's scouting out around the area, though. If he sees that there's another better compound that's available, he may take it. The compound that he's just now passing, I guess the double stack compound, it can be a very strong one as well. And so if he gets set up shop in here, then the circle does a hard swing north. That's an easy transition for his team to group up with them.
When one door closes, another opens. Hopefully that'll work out for them. But right now, it's a bit of a question mark at the moment. Going back to the shelter, it looks like being uncontested by Nova this time. Sid Destroy are able to just get all 4 players up with a good amount of kit as well. I saw the level 3 helmet on there on VTV. Great spot for them. They've already had one win this game, so they're pretty much secured for the finals. Question is that based on this game, just how far can they get exactly?
They are currently...
Oh, they didn't win a game. That was a shoot to kill, excuse me.
Yeah, they're currently 15th in this.
Definitely didn't win a game
this series, and 11th in global before this series gets calculated. So it's a little shaky for them as well. They want to have a good series along with Space Station Gaming this final game to really comfortably solidify their spot. Kaden from Totality continuing to try and get map control spots. MV is getting into these yellows, sends out a couple of shots onto Kaden. None of them connects just yet, but Kaden gets scared and has to back off anyway, and they don't want
barely able to save the tires.
At least, yeah. So he's hiding the UAZ in those yellows, going to be sticking around in that area nonetheless, but the blue is just about to close. Only a couple of more moments before the next circle will reveal itself. We're going to see where the rest of the game is going to be playing out, in a couple of late rotations in as well. Cloud9 coming in from the far west, getting quite close to Duel while they're doing so. And this circle, another real central one. Very few people are going to have to move, but Cloud9 landing just northwest of Duel on Potato Mountain.
Tempo Storm getting a little bit lit up from Ghost, though. They're able to get one down, but Balak forced away as we pulling back. He will be able to finish off Maluk, though, bleeding out on the side of that hill, leaving BenQ5 and your boy Dre trying to find somewhere else to go, looking like they're just going to be driving north over the spine. But look at that little mini-map. There is a player south of Balak is actually able to get shots on him, almost finishing him off. Zampa very out of position, but might be able to take out this little player and continue north to his team.
Balak has a tiny little dip to hide in, also tosses out of smoke. BenQ5 gets taken out by Turtle in the meantime as well, and now more backup from Ghost is going to be putting pressure on Zampa and force him to make the long rotation around the west, perhaps trying to group up your boy Dre. And now Balak peeks out once again as well after he healed up, lands a couple more shots on the Zampa. Oh, another spin out. This is terrible for his transition. Zampa has to pop out, but he gets behind tree cover. Balak wants to rearrange his position to find an angle onto that.
This is really bad for Tempo. They've essentially lost 2 players. There's no way that BenQ5 is walking away from this. This UAZ as well, look at that back wheel gone. Probably not going to be driving away with that. I don't know where the last player was. Your boy Dre, he's going right past Wildcard. No way! Crashing into the tree. Wildcard getting that kill. This might be an early 16th place Tempo Storm here. They've
had a struggle of a series so far, and this game has been the worst. Luckily for them, they're at least in 3rd place, but I feel like they're going to take a couple of points. They're going to be very disappointed into the finals. But now, more pressure coming out from Wheaties box. Rejects into Totalities. Purdy getting pinned down. Can't put as much pressure around him. And that's unfortunate timing because Cloud9 are swinging in on the north side as we speak.
For Totality, this is not usually the 2-2 split that we see. Usually it's the garage and the trailer park compound, not usually the garage and the dip. The dip, very hard to hold 2 people. They're driving right past Purdy, having all these vehicles going on by. Elusive very close, low HP as well. One more shot will do it. Actually, I say that. He gets hit down to even lower, but I don't even know how this guy is still alive. Taking so many shots, somehow swerving out of there. Cloud9 actually not losing any players despite well, as I say that.
Yeah, as you say that.
Yeah.
2 of them have to hop out of a vehicle. Solid FPS gets taken down. Moody could get the revive, but look at the angle held by Taro. A sliver of one, and all he has is a holographic sight. A smoke being thrown out by by Solid to get the revive onto Moody. So they will be able to stand up, but no vehicle. Oh, but pressure coming back out onto Taro from the north. Frolicker
I
found
thought
an angle
Cloud9
onto
was
them.
out of that, but they got a little bit greedy with their positioning on the southwest side. Whoa, what is going on here? Looks like Tumai getting a crate, but Ghost down here. Looks like they have one down, but these vehicles making pretty much required, but getting shot at from every single different angle. Turtle getting shot out of the UAZ as well. I think he might have been able to barely make it to cover, but these northeast and northwestern angles are very, very tricky to deal with for Ghost.
This is a nice dip if you can maintain it, but you can see just how slim of a margin it is. They just need to take one step and they get and they're peeking out with their heads, and this 8x on an AK, if it lands on their face, is gonna do wonders against their health bar. But Ghost, if they can maintain this spot, they can control a lot of space around them. They just need to put pressure on all the teams angling it onto their position.
We're about 2/3 done. A lot of teams being unable to find themselves safe homes, having to fight for every step of the way for the most part. Centralized spots continuing to be so around the sort of garage, trailer park, Alamo area. Those three compounds still very, very strong here. A lot of the eastern side of the zone pretty empty. United and Nova, the only ones in. Space Station Gaming on the southeast side making their first entry, but Cloud9 still unable to catch a break, losing one player, making the way out, despite using a lot of smokes and using a lot of resources. He's not going to be making it back home to his team.
I'm excited on how this totality split is going to turn out into late game, but for that, we're going to have to wait to see when the next circle reveals itself. While I say that Nova takes a lot of hits, they drive straight through Space Station Gaming, who take out two of them. And look, another swing. We've seen this area of the map before. United are laughing this whole time because of this, because once again, they have the best spot, and once again, all these teams on the west side are going to have to make the transition east.
Yeah, it looks like Ghost being the first to move, somehow able to walk away for now, but I don't see the rest of Ghost or Profi's team like being a little funny in the air there, but he's going to be needing to be careful as he makes his way, and I don't know where anyone could be going, but it looks like McCoy making the not the best transition, getting caught right in front of totality. One down, actually don't make that two, but it will be McCoy going down pretty. I think he can get revived if his teammates come quickly enough, but Smithy is taking a lot of damage making his way in. Be questionable if you can do that or not.
Turtle gets taken out in a vehicle explosion as well. Profi at least was able to make his own way into the now abandoned Alamo, but he is alone. He is the star player on Ghost, so if anyone can take it to the end, it is him. But right now, Space Station are going up against Set to Destroy X. Set to Destroy taking a lot of casualties. It is now just Shuru left to try and get out of it. He's going to hop back in his vehicle. Is he going to go for the revive on Fignato?
No way. That's really crazy. No, okay, well, it's rolling away again. He's trying to use it for cover, but it's not quite working out. While this sort of finagling is going on, though, we do see a push going on the high ground from Space Station, while D-Master pushing straight up in, finishing off the down. So if he wanted to go for that, then it's definitely not happening anymore. But no cover for D-Master, having to serpentine a little bit, but his teammates, they got his back, putting a lot of fire on. VTV going down as well. Just Shuru and D-Master is looking to finish this off.
And look at the high ground push from the other members of Space Station. Hops in the vehicles, try to drive away, but it's too little too late. And Space Station go out in 16th place. Sorry, Set to Destroy go out by Space Station at the hands of them. And now Space Station have total control of the southeastern side of the circle.
Didn't lose a single player throughout. Very good from them. This zone is very, very awkward right now, though, Cameron. Look at this. The road splitting it directly in half. No one can be sure that the position they have is good, but if I'm trying to pick some sides here, that I'm liking United and I'm liking Wheaties Box Rejects. That's 6 and 18. They're both in pretty centralized spots. They can maybe move out pretty well, but right now, if you're not either of those teams, then you're in a lot of trouble.
Wheatie Box are in a good spot to try and continue to gatekeep this western side, deal more damage to these teams that continue to have to come in eastward from that western stack that we saw. This from United, though, they get a crate delivered right on top of them. Do they even see it in the sky? Because it's right over their heads.
They don't see they're going to hear it.
They may not even see it coming down just yet.
Oh, man, what are they getting? If they get a sniper, another AUG, we've been seeing these all day. More importantly, though, is the level 3 helmet. This is a great injection of loot for a team that is already in a great spot. This 2 split, they thought they were only trying to, like, dissuade cars and stuff, but they're actually getting a crate for their trouble.
I'm afraid that crate may be too far
Is it gonna slide?
Okay, we're good.
Oh no, are we? Okay, we're good.
Okay, we're good. I was afraid it was gonna fall off into prison, and that would make it virtually inaccessible. Toss out a couple of smokes, so they can have easy access to it. I'm afraid they're gonna be a little disappointed
careful.
with it. If it was an M24 or an
It's a level 3 helmet, man. They're gonna be fine.
True,
They'll love it.
of course, but the AUG is not exactly what they were hoping for, I'm sure.
All right, this shrink almost done. A lot of small scrimmages on our edge are pretty much done with teams taking casualties all around. A lot of duos I'm seeing on the edge, but oh my God, E United getting absolutely fed. They are going to be able to claim the southern side pretty easily. The big question mark is what's going to happen on the north. We already see Render at squad 15 in their little compound, but over here on the side, looks like a late crash onto the Alamo with a totality barely able to get in by the skin of their teeth. I think Ghost is now out, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, set to destroy out first, Ghost out second, taking our first 2 full casualties of the game, but still gonna be question of who's going to make their way in from this west side. Totality able to slowly inch their way inside the circle, using the warehouse to do so, but now they have to continue their eastbound travels.
I'm kind of liking the spot right here for Space Station Gaming. You know, they've already killed a full squad over here, so they can be pretty confident this entire area is mostly devoid of people. That to top that off as well, the only other squad that's really in a great spot is E United. E United definitely in a better spot, to be sure, but Space Station Gaming in a spot on the edge that's mostly empty. They cleared it themselves and also have a lot of cars and still 4 players up. I like it.
Sharpshot able to keep his team alive, taking out a lurk player from Weedybox Rejects. Has to run in. He is still on the fast side. He doesn't know what's ahead of him. Weedybox, the rest of that team are in a really bad spot as well. North of prison, pinned down between E United and Team Gates. So they're going to be taking a lot of casualties from that. It's going to be a real chore to get out of there. Right now on the southern edge of prison, we do see God Squad arrive, still 4 strong. They're not in the circle just yet, but they can gain a good amount of information from that position and eventually rotate to where E United had just left on the edge of prison.
Okay, keep coming up from Envious on the north side. Purdy is sneaking here on that little bit right there, but going further out into the blue is the running members of Shoot to Kill. Purdy will be leading the way. Big jump, making his way in. I think he should be fine. This blue isn't too painful. We'll be able to get in, but the rest of the players that made this route keep it the same. Look at that kill. Oh, Nerf me in just the right spot, avoiding the bike as well. That Groza doing a lot of work for Nova.
Yeah, the hard loop is not working out for Totality because there were too many players, perhaps more than they expected. Tony V was able to make it in, able to find a small tower for himself as well, but he is going to be the last remaining player for his team. And Nova may have eyes set on his position, but now here comes the push from Duel. Don't know. They definitely didn't spot out God Squad, but God Squad may be spotting them.
It's kind of hard to tell right now. Drassel might have seen something, but getting shot from the east, they're not worried about God Squad anymore. They're trying to worry about Space Station Gaming. But with God Squad on that side flank, they have to push in here. So sooner or later, a fight's going to break out. Cayman, though, is being very careful. Oh, yeah, he definitely knows that something's up, or at least they know that someone could be over here. God Squad playing it nice and careful. Quick picks are their specialty, but can they do it with so much pressure on their back? They got to go right now.
Mine holding the line, spawning a couple of heads. He's not committing to the fight just yet, waiting for his team to get ready to get those heals, get back to full health. The thing is, E United have a couple of angles on them as well, so they have to make sure that they don't overextend too much, which is why they're staying so safe. They also know that the blue is at the back of their opponents, so they just need to wait until their opponents are forced into them. But God Squad seem to have find a small. No, they're actually running the other way around. They don't want to force their way through.
Okay, I'm not sure if that's possible. They're actually trying to get through prison. Okay. This is a really rough zone, though, and as we've seen multiple times in this tourney, the one big issue that a lot of players have is not being able to determine the damage of these late zones correctly. Drassel dead for sure. Pistola Time dead as well. These guys are getting into their heads so much right now, and we're really seeing it come into a head in the 4th game.
It's not a bad idea, but they just committed into it way too late. Little Prodigy, can he sneak his own way down? He's not the last remaining player. They do have a 4th who snuck his way on the east side.
Oh my God, one
just barely, but it's gonna be rough. His teammates are surely dropping their meds for him to now pick up to continue his heal stratting in this circle, but he has 25 seconds left before
he might have
has
not
to
popped that in
continue the
time. It's
run.
kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, he may not be able to make his way into even the current safe zone, much less the next.
Okay.
Only 4 first aid kits. It's got to be rough movement for him.
New zone popped again. Still the road intersecting right in the middle, and E United getting pretty close to Cloud9. They're on the northern side. Little Prodigy will be able to make it in, but not in as nearly great of a spot as they had before. Shouldn't need a first aid as long as he botches some movement. I think.
Well, the Blues about to start moving.
Right.
So
right. Oh, Stim
oh,
saved him.
Sliver of health, but can he make it in time before the blue comes over his position? He's got one more first aid that he has to do before he continues running. Looks like
he's not dead to a lack of meds, but I think he might get shot is the problem.
That's okay. So Space Station Gaming, they're coming across where Duel just left. Duel may be stuck in a really hard spot between Cloud9, E United, and Space Station Gaming. Space Station definitely spot them out. Couple of shots land onto Snark. He has to try and hide. Oh, can't. Final headshot, actually from an AWM, is going to be what drops him.
Oh, yeah, it's Hwin who's got the big boy gun. He's currently trying to pop some smokes. They got to get down into the ridge and get into cover so they can actually maneuver here. Despite losing that one player, they still have 3 up. You mentioned a pinch going from Cloud9, but I don't think they'll be moving out anytime soon. They're stuck down there in that little cave inside prison. But what's going on? Big push coming. The smokes are out, and they are looking to wrest this position away from Duel.
Got to make sure they don't overextend onto this because you're going to have a couple of angles potentially onto this position. But here comes Smurf up close, but K-Mine trying to answer back. Smurf does get taken down by Wooly. Excellent win in the sights of K-Mine. Can't land too many shots on that, though. Takes heavy damage, but he does drop K.
I think that might be everyone but one. No, Vexel still there getting 2 downs, is caught out. Everyone, even us casters, thought that was everyone, but he was able to make a bit of a last hurrah. Can't 4v1 them no matter how good your mechanics are. Well, that's been going on. A lot of fights. The edge of the zone has mostly solved itself. I think Envy is out at this point. Nova was able to take them down, but big thing important to note about a lot of these edge teams, the only team on the northern edge that still has more than 2 up is, I'm pretty sure, it's Team Gates on the northwest side. And still 4 up. A lot of these other squads are mostly underpowered. That being said, Team Gates, despite having 4 players up, in a tactically horrible spot right now. They got to cross an open field one way or another and make something out of nothing. But at the very least, it looks like the zone is going to be favoring the north side of this road. Now, United, what are they going to do about this?
Vegas taking a couple of shots, takes a vehicle out. The long range AUG. Spotting the vehicle. Doesn't spot anyone else to the north side, but there's going to be a revive coming up on the northeast. United, they now have to leave their building once again. They ended up winning the game even after that last game. But there's no compound to run into. And they're going to be virtually running downhill the entire time. But shots continuing to lay out onto them. Kaisko gets taken down. And now Jesse low as well. So that's going to be Envious out of this in 10th place. Only 9 teams left. And many of them are quite damaged. Nova now taking a lot of shots from multiple directions from the south.
This ain't gonna happen. Nerf me trying to find some sort of route in, going up the hill, going to the large side of the zone, but there's so many spots that haven't caught out. But Duel taking a lot of damage, losing 1 player and a second going down. While it's going on as well, Zampa going in from the south side. He has been able to sneak his way in all the way to 9th place. Is now trying to eliminate a squad and shoot his way in, getting 1 down already. It's just Wooly up, but while it's going on, E United making their way at just the right time. Oh,
they pushed out. Perfect timing. As you said, Zamper hears Vegas jumping around.
Didn't see him.
Yeah, doesn't see him just yet. He's the last remaining player of his team, so wants to try and take it as low and slow as possible, crawling just barely ahead of the blue. But the blue is going to be overtaking him, so he's going to have to stand up if he doesn't want to take too much damage, and that means
they don't see him. Oh my God.
They're probably going to look behind him eventually because they're trying to comb this entire area out. But for
the zone, they don't have time.
Now, he's able to use them to bound and continue to try to crawl. Doesn't want to make any steps, but is spotted from Geist, the last player from EU United to group up with his team. And so that's Temple Storm out in 7th.
Considering their start, that was insane. They lost everyone but him.
There. Yeah, it's true, but Little Prodigy's still in this. We were curious. We were concerned for him pathing in through prison. But he's not in the safe zone just yet. And he hears this action from EU United spotted out. from above the cliff. Should be taking some shots soon as they get their crosshairs on his position. Yes,
yeah,
indeed.
he's super dead.
More shots is really like you do to fight back rather than try and shoot them in return, but it's going to be German that takes him out, his team out in 6. We're in the top 5 at this point. E United are the only team with 4 alive.
Despite how dirty the previous play worked, it did at least get God Squad 6th place, which is a pretty good thing to claim. Meanwhile, E United leaving their compound, clearing out the entire southern side, has been able to make their way over this road. Moody, they're holding the left side. E United have not spotted them out yet, but this transition is exactly the route they want to take in with the new zone claiming the northern side. But what will Moody do? Will he get any damage? He will be knocking Room out as well as Jimmer. Vegas able to get the kill though, and there is no one around to actually push this. Oh, as I say that though, Team Gates might be here. This could be an upset.
Ooh, they heard the fight go down. They want to punish any of the survivors. They don't want to overcommit to it. I'm too much for it, but Biz spots it out, checking his flank, sees a couple of models up there, and realizes they ended up potentially in a crossfire.
Oh.
Biz takes a lot of damage from the hut,
No
has to prone down, has to get that heal. This is some heavy damage, heavy pressure coming in from Render Esports in the north, in the prime spot in the circle, the one piece of hard cover.
United have no idea how close they just came to dying. If Render doesn't peek from that hut and engage Team Gates, then United could be all dead. That being said, 10 seconds left before the shrink. Render having the only cover in the zone. Can these 3 players do it? Or will it just, or these 2 players, I think, do it? Or will it just be an awkward spot? Let's see what's going to happen. Both teams moving at the same time. Team Gates, E United, as well as, that's actually Render, this Weedy on the edge. Weedy Box claiming the shot, actually. So Weedy Box, dead center, only cover for them.
Mr. Blown apart, trying to snake it out, just barely on the edge of the circle. But here comes the push from Gates. Biz does get dropped. I believe that was actually from E United. So continued pressure on Team Gates in between 2 teams. They know they have to have their head on a swivel, have to pay attention to multiple teams at once. And United still 4 strong, able to get those heals, able to get those revives, are spreading out and combing straight into the circle. They're trying to take out as many snakes as they can while they get into this late game. They don't want to leave it up to chance.
And this is so smart because they've actually been able to realize that, okay, there's no other squads, there's other places that squads can sit. We still have 4. We have no cover. We have nothing to work with, but we do have numbers. So what are they doing? They're playing aggressively. They're sitting here on top of this hill. They're not prone. They're walking around looking for fights. And as soon as someone takes a shot, all 4 players just converge on that one guy. And it's been working out great for them so far. Despite having no cover, they might be the team to look at for winning the 4th game here.
Team Gates are now down to 1. And there's another drop onto Weedy's Box rejects, but they can get the revive because they do have the hut. But this just gives E United the time to spread out and continue to gain more control. Ryum with the wide flank on the right, where there's another teammate pushing hard up. That's going to be an underhanded frag thrown in. Oh no,
he doesn't even need a frag. He has a gun.
Yeah, who cares about these fancy schmancy mechanics? Wrap around the side from Jibber does get first drop on a Teflon. Nitrogen, the only player left. Jibber does get dropped from another angle, but Vegas also gets dropped. Nitrogen does
shot in the back by Render.
Here comes on the wide flank with the final shot to take out the snakes. Render tried to take that, almost clutched it out for his team, but it's going to be E United with another win. Once again with 14 kills.
Dude, that was absolutely crazy from E United. The fact that they were able to survive crossing that road, even after Cloud9 took out 2 of their players, they barely survived with the skin of their teeth after Team Gates almost pushed them, but then they were ousted back by Weedy Box, taking shots at them and forcing them back over the hill, back into cover. Then at that point, United realized, all right, there's like 9 alive. We're 4 of them. Let's make some magic happen. And that's 2 times they've won these eastern zones that's near their drop. I think that these guys might just be the masters of that prison split area.
Well, I don't know if we're going to be waiting around for the final scores. We're going to wait till someone gets back to me on that, but nonetheless.
I think that's it for us today, man. I think that's all we're doing.
Yes, so in that case, just go to the PUBG.auzom.gg website to go check out the final scores of the APL Premier League, or Auzom Premier League. That's what APL stands for. To see who the top 16 teams are when we go into this weekend for the grand finals. Everything on the line still at this point. Some great games. Wildcard Gaming coming out with some amazing ones, but E United taking 2 wins in a row at the end. It's probably going to skyrocket them to a #1 spot, and that's going to do amazing for their standings. Currently in 4th in global, this could put them up at first because Totality struggled a bit themselves. We're going to have to see if they can't get up to that #1 spot, but nonetheless, thank you from us. We will see you again this weekend.